Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. We're going to just hang out here for a moment or two, give people a chance to show up that want to be here. Thank you for coming and help make it happen. And faces familiar and faces new, all welcome. So I usually say, welcome to our Pathward Village, right? And that's a term near and dear here, because in a village, everybody matters. Everybody has a place. Village wouldn't be the village if one person was missing. So your being here matters. We hope it matters to you, yet no, it matters to us. So in a moment, we'll attune. And here's what comes to me by way of invitation, what I've been sitting with, which is all beings have a real need for safety. And for we human beings, this is an ongoing search. And here together, we can turn that search into discovery. We're learning on this path to become our own sanctuary, our own safe place. And we start by creating it here all together. And that includes each one of us. What we're doing is creating a new energetic pattern that we're all in together, that we can then bring into our own life, that we can call on, count on, rely on. It always was ours, yet the nature of our incarnatory journey on the human plane is that we often find ourselves disconnected from it. What we do when we're gathered here together has a chance of making a meaningful difference for ourselves, for each other, for the planet as a whole, actually. And really, the only thing we need to do is just show up and bring our willingness. The rest will unfold. The rest is waiting. So where we learn genuine safety most naturally is in stillness that we'll enter together in a few minutes. And this is simply just not talking and offering ourselves a deeper silence, stepping back from our thinking and just watching all that's going on inside of us from this place of stillness. The promise to us is this: there's a door in our awareness that once we open it, we will know that the universe is really inside us. It's an experience that can touch every level of our being. It's already here, right now, this very moment, inside you, inside me, waiting for us to simply turn to it and allow. So our practice together is the intention and the commitment and the follow through to come back to this threshold often. Reopen the door if it's drifted closed. Drink in with all our senses the true nature of our being. And it's so much easier when we do it together. That's the magic, the grace of group consciousness. So I invite you now just to gently soften your eyes. Let the body relax. Turn yourself over to the wisdom and magic of the breath. Let it breathe you with fresh grace with every inhale. Let it take any and all doubt, fear, worry, and tension with each exhale. Give it your full heart's consent. Let yourself want it enough to bring all of yourself here to this very moment. Riding our magic carpet of consciousness together. Be still. The secrets to eternity are here. The power of our positive intention to fully be here, best we can, is enough, all by itself. There is nothing else needed. The door to everything you seek is inside you. Let your energy field align with this positive intention. Let them resonate together. Visualize yourself now out in nature somewhere. Surrounded by ancient trees going up as high as you can see. You notice one surrounded by soft green moss. And you sit on the ground with your back against it. Your legs relax and stretch. Your body moves into comfort. Your arms fall softly to your side. Your hands gently open. Feel your back against the tree, supporting you, just as the earth underneath you supports you. Feel the tree going down into the earth and reaching into the sky at the same time. Gently stretching you beyond your day-to-day self-images. Let the tree teach you stillness. Ask the tree to do so. Feel this here and now. Let it reach you. Let yourself be held by it. Let yourself be held. The wind starts to blow and the branches start to sway. Yet feel the strength of the tree trunk in your back. The solid earth underneath you supporting you. Your roots going down into the earth with the tree's roots. The more the winds blow, the calmer you feel. Notice your roots now, touching other roots of trees in the ground all around you. Roots reaching out to each other. Winding around each other for strength, contact, connection, support. There's a part of you in every one of us. There's a part of every one of us in you. Part of me pours out of you. Part of you pours out of me. Let yourself feel how wonderful this is. Now, with eyes still inward, feel the presence of others here with you today. Here and now. Healing is a communal experience. When you're ready, taking all the sweet time you wish, softly open your eyes. And on the screen, drink in the real people here with you. Those you know, those you don't know yet. Okay. So we're going to do our introduction, and the way we do this is you just say your name and where you are on the planet. We want to get a global sense of who we really are together. And a couple words about what you're feeling right now in this moment. And anybody can begin. And see who's ready.
My name is Luciana. I'm from Brazil, Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais, and I'm feeling very touched by this prayer.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Hello. I'm Fabiana. I'm feeling calm, confident, and connected.
Glad you're here.
My name is Pam. I'm about 25 minutes from the Canadian border on the East Coast in Maine. Therefore, I'm wearing a fleece instead of sweating in Georgia today. I'm feeling very grateful to be here and glad to see you all.
Glad you're here, Pam.
Hi, my name is Agathe. I'm in Quebec, Île-de-la-Madeleine, in the ocean. And I'm very happy to meet you all. I'm feeling very calm, yeah, kind of deep.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm Saida, and I'm in Denmark, city of Copenhagen, and I feel very much slow and at ease today, and glad to be here and seeing all of you and being connected.
Thank you, Saida, and for what you bring.
I'm Frank in Richmond, Virginia, and I am also feeling connected, especially after that nice guided meditation. Brian, thank you.
Thank you, Frank. It's always good to have you.
I'm Esther from Swampscott, Massachusetts, and I'm noticing I bring my child along with me. So it's good to be whole and working on it.
Thank you, Esther. All of you is welcome here.
Well, I'm Chris, and I'm in Charlottesville, Virginia. Excuse me. I'm feeling very calm and contented this morning, and really glad to be here. And yes, thank you, Brian, for that lovely meditation. So.
Thank you, Chris. Glad you're here.
As long as we're in Charlottesville, this is Bill. It's the first day in a long time I've just really felt led to be completely inward and unworried about getting stuff done. It started raining this morning out of nowhere, and it's still raining. Kind of saying, don't go out and do all the stuff you thought you should do. Just be inward, and so this is a perfect time to be here.
Welcome, Bill.
Good morning. Sorry. I'm Alex, and I am in Harrisonburg, Virginia. This was on my radar all week, and then there were a number of really difficult things that have occurred, and I forgot about it until this morning when I saw the announcement with the link, and I was so like, oh yes, oh good, oh good. So thanks for having this, Brian, and glad to be here.
Glad you're here, Alexandra.
I'm Dan.
Darlene. Oh, go ahead.
I'm Dan. I'm in Richmond, Virginia. I'm have been kind of frenetic for the last several days, and I'm tired, and it's a little bit of a struggle trying to find that stillness right now.
Welcome as you are, Dan.
I'm Darlene in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And it feels like it's been a period of descent, which I feel like I'm waking up inside of, which is a relief to understand.
Glad to have you, Darlene.
I'm Yvonne in Daleville, Virginia, and I'm feeling very grounded after experiencing the roots all interconnected and helping each other. So thank you for that, Brian.
Glad you're here, Yvonne. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Sheila. I'm in Northern Virginia. And I'm feeling kind of conflicted about being here today, actually, because I've had a lot of problems with productivity lately, and I'm feeling somewhat guilty that I'm not actually just getting my work done right now. So if I suddenly disappear, that might be why.
Yeah.
Um,
Just know that we're following you when you disappear.
okay.
You'll see us there in the woodwork.
I probably won't, but it's just a possibility. So I'm not really feeling all that calm at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think I'd feel a lot calmer if I had my work done.
Mm-hmm.
Over and out.
We welcome you as you are, Sheila.
Thank you.
Mhm. Anybody else who hasn't gone yet? You're not required to speak if you're not wanting to, Catherine or Howard. Just know that we welcome you here. Okay, so I guess it's up to me. My name is Brian. I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, in the US, and I'm actually very glad to be here. Even though there's also another part of me that's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? You know, I'm trusting the richness of all our being here together, and that when I tell you there's nothing you have to do, that also applies to me. So there's some new faces here, so I'll just say a couple things. The first is that really, primarily what we're doing here is to raise our vibration together, to experience a higher frequency together that actually is ours already. We're just not connected with when we're often in our own little groove, in our own little busy world, right? So it's not really about general discussion, yet it's very much about anything that you're feeling right now. You're always free to speak up. And I often say, just raise your hand at any time, even if I'm speaking. And I noticed last month I didn't see somebody raise their hand. So speak up also. What really helps if you just share how you're feeling without any need to explain why you're feeling that way, right? Without any of the story. Even to say, I just feel hopeless. I feel like giving up, or I'm really frustrated, or I'm so lonely. I feel so alone. I feel so sad. I'm in a lot of grief, right? Because without the story, what happens is those of us that have similar feelings, and we all have a lot of these feelings, can really resonate with you energetically. And when somebody shares, if you feel a part of you that is resonating with them, consider just bringing your hands up to show I'm here with you, right? Like, it's the most powerful form of healing, just to be seen and honored for what we're going through, what we're experiencing, right? And one thing that can happen here is when you take the step of sharing, you may not even know what you're going to say until you hear yourself say it, right? That's actually a form of grace, right? So, you know, I do have a few things to say, and like the song goes, it's only words, yet words are all I have, right? And yet in the words, there's something that really matters to me, because it brings me life. It brings me freedom in those places that I feel the most stuck, where I've felt stuck all my life, where a part of me feels I'll always be stuck. One of the things about this path, the path work, is we have so much material from the guide. 258 lectures over 30 years. And it's like, what's the piece I need right now? And yet, what I want to touch on today is that the intellectual understanding is not enough. What we need is the willingness and openness to explore our experience at the deeper level of feelings that are moving in us. And that's the magic of what we can do here together, right? To allow the deepest parts of us to show themselves to us in the presence of each other. In the presence of each other, we just know, we just feel we're cared, we're held, we're supported. Understanding the material is valuable and useful. Yet it's easy to fall into trying to think our way through it. Clearly, we're called to understand it. Yet that's not possible without feeling the energy that's in it. When I've spoken to those who were at the lectures with Eva, they all say the same thing. It was the energy that was in the room. What did she say? I don't remember. I just felt the energy in the room. Right. And this energy that was so present in a palpable way that created the fertile ground for those there to hear and listen, take in, that's the energy that we're creating here together. So what is that energy? It's love. So what is love? Well, you could say 1,000 things about it, and they would all have truth in it. Right? Yet the love that's here in this lens of love is the experience of being something greater than the small self, our individual consciousness. As we share freely and witness each other sharing, we realize that so many of the ideas we had about our unworthiness, our limitations, our so-called flaws, are really just our humble humanity, right? It's really what the soul that came into this human incarnatory journey actually went through a lot of trouble to create for our transformation. Yet most of us look at these parts of ourself, our struggles, like they're the obstacle, right? And we can't really start to live till we get past them. So it's love that gives us the strength and the support and the wisdom to look at ourselves with kindness, compassion, patience, understanding. It's love that knows we're a struggling human being. who often loses touch with their divinity, even though it's always present. So what we're learning here is whatever happens, no matter what hurts, the first step is to be kind to ourselves for what we're going through. Yet most of us have a lifelong reflex of self-criticism, self-judgment, shame, guilt, right? So this is a safe place here together that we can bring all of ourselves, especially the parts that we struggle with. We have a light here that we shine on these parts to reveal they are simply our humble humanity, the raw material of our transformation. And that there is dignity in our imperfections. They are not shameful. So when you share here, we shine this light on it, and there's a special effect because we're all here with you. We have our own humble version. Richard Rohr has this that really struck me. He says, once we have faced our hidden or denied self, there's not much to be anxious about anymore because there is no fear of exposure. We are no longer afraid to be seen by ourselves or others. The game is over. We are free. We finally are who we are, this imperfect human being, and can be who we are, a divine being and a human experience, without disguise or fear. No matter how much we struggle, we're in the early stages of a miracle in our life. And, you know, coming to peace within, it's as simple as really being honest with ourselves. And yet, you know, that depends on our uncovering and turning to where we're not, right? Where we're hiding ourselves from ourselves. So I want to pause here for a moment and just sort of let the energy of this radical self-acceptance, as Tara Brach calls it, right? Like, and, you know, for those of us that want to grow and change, the first step is just to fully accept ourselves as we are right now, where we are right now. In the very provocations of life that test our inner peace over and over and over again. So, you know, whatever is going on in me that I'm struggling with, whatever's going on in you that you're struggling with. It's actually an exquisitely designed blueprint. We each have our own, right? Mine won't work for you. Your problems will not help me. My problems will not help you. Yet, what we're learning to do is let go of the unworthiness that we feel in our struggles so that we can begin to seek understanding. What's going on in me that's calling me to be with it in a way nobody has ever been with me before up till now, right? So what I'm hoping to do here, what I've done is just to sing a song of energy, right? Like, can you feel the conflict and then also feel that there's an energy. You may hear it in my voice, yet as you listen to my voice, you will hear a voice inside yourself that's your own voice, right? The guide tells us that above the level of individual consciousness, me, Brian, you, there's only one consciousness, right? So let's take some time and open up the space here for any sharing, parts that draw you. Maybe you feel like, wow, that sounds awfully nice, but I don't feel in touch with it. You see, what we're asking you to trust is whatever you're feeling right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. And we can help you tolerate listening to yourself in a way that's a lot harder when we're by ourselves, right? Bill.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. You mentioned Eva and the lectures and people who were in the room, and my first reaction was, oh, I never met Eva, so I guess, I missed all that. And then it came to me that I was at Donovan Thisenga's memorial at Seven Oaks, and a lot of great words spoken there, but the words I remember most came from Bill Griever, who said, Donovan said a lot of things, he wrote a lot of things, but really what I remember about him is his presence. And as soon as Bill said that, I just felt in that room, this just loving presence was just so powerful. I thought, well, that's it. that's the whole thing. And so that it gave me the sense of, I can have that experience. I didn't have to have sat at the feet of Eva to have gotten what the path work is about, or what any spiritual path is about. So thanks for that little trigger.
It's all here.
Yeah. Wherever 2 or 3 are gathered, right?
Mm-hmm. Esther.
When you just said my problems don't help you and your problems don't help me, I've that's been that just hit the spot that I worry about, because I was always struggling in childhood. And watched other people get ahead, that I've got some kind of a warped view that people like to um, get something from my struggle. And I can't put my finger on it because I don't think it's probably rational, for an adult, but definitely if the child's ruling, I feel like that. And I don't know if that's kind of a Christian idea too, where
Esther, stay with the feeling of what you just touched on, and we can be here with you. You're holding something many of us have a flavor of, right?
Yeah, because in childhood you sort of feel like, and my family was more patriarchal oriented, and I was the oldest girl. So I think it was, you were there to support the older brother or the men in the family. And I think that's true. I think there's truth to that. So I'm not knocking it, but it's just that I felt kind of it's like, what about me or something?
What about me? Stay with that one, Esther.
Okay.
It took a lot of words to get to that. Stay with it. What about me?
Yeah, like, do I just sit here struggling to be seen or to get love? Yeah, well, more probably to get love.
Yeah.
So
and anybody that has some resonance with this, what about me? See me, raise your hand and just, Esther, we're really holding this, and let it flow and move. Just the next layer here.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I haven't dropped through. I think I have a more open heart now, but I'm not sure if I dropped through.
Just stay with it right now. There's a place in me that's really terrified right now.
Yeah, I'm totally terrified right now. That child is.
Right. Just see where your breath is with it, and just, whew, terrified. That's a sacred word, right? And what else do you notice as you're really just being here with the one who's feeling the terror?
It's a combination of sad and pain.
And let the pain say anything it wants to here without even thinking about it.
It's not fair. Can't anybody help?
Yeah.
Doesn't anybody see what I see?
So really let yourself look at the screen now, Esther, and see that there's some of us here that are feeling our own version of what you're feeling and have a special kind of help, which is solidarity. Right. An understanding beyond words that we just want to be here with you. You know. But my voice is, I want to be with you in the terror. I don't want you to be alone in the terror. I don't like being alone in my terror. When I'm with you in your terror, the part of me that's alone in my terror feels like I feel better, you know.
Yeah, maybe
I feel less alone, and not better, but you know, there's a terror in being alone. So you're helping me not feel alone in my own terror, and there's some version of that moving here through the circle.
Yeah, it's not such a scary place, I guess.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you. I definitely feel more calm.
Yeah. Thank you, Esther. Yeah, I saw that. Mhm. Yeah. Just, it's coming at you, Esther. It's like a soft rain. Being a human being is the most vulnerable experience in the universe. Sheila, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say to Esther that I wish I could just reach out and give you a big hug.
Oh, do it. Yeah. Yeah. You know, the beauty of this kind of virtual connection, the energy is not limited by the internet. You can feel it.
I'd like to say something about what you said about that we're exactly where we're supposed to be right now, which is something I struggle with a lot. Because part of me wants to say, well, if I had done this right or that right, or maybe if I'd worked harder at this, or hadn't gotten wrapped up in this other thing that distracted me for 14 years, maybe I would be so much further along, you know. So it's hard for me to, I guess, I mean, at some level, I realize self-acceptance makes total sense because it just really means accepting what is, you know, the way it is right now. And it's kind of pointless to pretend it's something other than it is right now, isn't it? But in terms of not condemning myself for my mistakes or for my failures, see, part of me, like my brain is right now going, well, Sheila, mistakes and failures are the same thing. You didn't need to repeat that. It's I don't, it's an ongoing battle with me.
Yeah. Chris.
I guess Sheila, I wanted to speak to you. I really hear your pain right now, and I wanted to remind you of our favorite book and about Pete Walker, who is so eloquent in talking about the self-critic and how to handle the self-critic. So that's kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right about that, Chris. And actually, one of his quotes, I made my screensaver for about 3 months. The quote having to do with the inner critic, you know, the relentless criticism as a child gets internalized and becomes this relentless inner critic.
You know, Sheila, what you're speaking to is really in all of us. The inner critic, a minion of the lower self, right? That says, if you would just shape up, things would be better. It's your fault. You know, you're not doing this enough, you're doing that too much, blah, 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 blah. So let's remember where this voice started early in life. With the child, you're right with you, Bill, the child at a young age, usually around 3, had a cataclysm. either an overt trauma or often a covert trauma. The child realized there's nobody here with me. There are people in the room, they're not here with me. I'm all alone. And, this is annihilating to this tender little being that is all about relatedness and connection and needing to have its worth reflected back to it, and, hear how special it is, how wonderful. 12 times a day, 100 times a day is not too much. Right? This is a real need in the child that most of us did not get anywhere near enough of. So the child goes, there's something wrong with me because they don't see me. They're not paying attention to me. I need to change. And the child reaches for the voices that is heard. Stop running around. You're too much. Sit still. I told you not to do that. There's a room full of voices around the child like this. So the child starts telling itself the same thing in the belief that now they're going to see me and like me and want me and love me and celebrate me, and we'll all be happy, right? This is how the lower self starts, and then it goes unconscious, where it's even more damaging, right? And this is what most of us who struggle with unworthiness have some version of, and this is the energy that we're trying to have here of something different, which is what Rogers called unconditional high regard for the human being you are, for the human being I am, right? Bill.
Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge that for me, who grew up in a Protestant religious tradition, and I think maybe this applies for many of us who grew up in Western religious traditions. When I first got into spirituality as an adult, I realized how much socialized programming I had. Like, I still remember the Book of Common Prayer, which literally says this: we have not done that which we ought to have done. We have done that which we ought not to have done. There is no health in us. Those were the words many of us were taught. Like, oh my God. We have to forgive ourselves and just acknowledge that. What's the technical term? That shit. And kind of put that aside, right? So in addition to all of the intrapsychic stuff, there's this socialized layer of, spirituality is about judgment, period. And, just getting out of that was part of the and it was one of the things that I really had to get and did get when I was first in the path work. So thank God for that.
Thank you, Bill. Fabiana, you raised your hand.
Oh, I also.
Hi. When you said about intellectual understanding, I see myself so much in this because I want to understand and I don't want to feel anything. And later, I'm meditating and trying to feel my body. And I realize that I only feel from my head, my hands, and my underbody. I don't feel anything. I don't feel any sensation. And I was talking to my sister, and sometimes she feels the same. It's like we have something around our heads, but the rest of our bodies is like numb. We don't feel anything. And it applies when we eat so much without feeling what we are eating, and some sensations that eating something too hot, too much spicy, because unless it's intense, I don't feel anything. So when you said about the intellect and other, I don't know, bodies, it resonates to my feelings, I don't know, and sensations.
Thank you, Fabiana.
Yeah,
I'm Luciana, by the way.
Yeah,
She's my sister.
Chris.
Yeah, I wanted to comment about Fabiana, and I also wanted to comment about Bill. And anyway, a number of things that have, well, all of it has inspired me, but I just, Fabiana, I just hear you describing a kind of numbness that we all do to numb pain. And that's one defense that we cultivate to tolerate this sense of not being seen and valued, which makes us feel, it's a way of keeping us feeling safe in the world. Because when we're not valued, we don't feel safe. And so that takes me to what I wanted to say about your comment, Brian, early on when you were talking about safety. I thought that's kind of really is my study of attachment theory and pre and perinatal psychology is all like, for me, the core is safety. It's like, that's what the message is. It's like how everything, all of our stories, everything has to do with what some version trying to feel safe in the world and embodied, some version. It may not look like it, but it is. That's how I feel.
First chakra safety. Yeah. So Fabiana, you know, in this work, you may be very familiar with this. When we say, I can't feel, I don't feel, that's true. That's our experience, right? Yet unconsciously, there's a place that says, I won't feel. It's too dangerous to feel.
Safety.
I'll be annihilated, right? Yet you notice how much more authentic life is in this voice? And we're getting in touch now with our own repressed power. And here, it's perfectly welcome to say, I'm not going to feel, Right? Because now we're up against the real struggle in us. And the risk of not getting in touch with our negative intention not to feel is we start to think there's something wrong with me because I can't feel. I'm damaged. It will take years and years before, right, I can start to feel more fully. Yet that getting down to the no, which is at the core of the path work, right? Our no to life. It just gets right down. Now we know what's going on, right? And nobody can tell us not to be afraid of our feelings. We're terrified of them. Right? Every one of us has feelings we don't want to feel. Right? Yet, just speaking them here openly, there's a miracle that happens. They move, they shift just a little bit. It's in a little bit of a new place, right? Something is starting to happen in us. A new relationship with our pain, our fear, our hopelessness, our despair, our doubt, right? So do you want to just try that here, Fabiana? Take a moment, just let this voice out. Just, there's pleasure in it for you if you can. I won't feel.
She did say her name is Luciana.
Just free yourself up a little bit more. Just so that you're new here, I want you to know this is the freedom that's here. That it's open mic, right?
I feel that I'm ashamed of admitting I don't want to feel.
Okay. Thank you. Look, notice the hands that are up here for you, Fabiana. You're not alone here. There's nothing wrong with you. This is the very human struggle here, right? Can you feel it, Fabiana, move just a little bit? Just as you said,
Now I'm feeling calm, relieved, somehow like true. Thank you.
thank you. You're really helping all of us, Fabiana. We're pulling each other up the mountain. You see that? You feel that? And that's what we're doing together.
I want to say something. A self-observation. After listening to your speech, let's call it a speech, Brian, that you gave after your meditation. I don't spend enough time smelling the roses. I spend too much time discerning the complications of life and the path that I'm on. And I just want to spend some more time smelling the roses, you know? And I guess if I have to redefine the roses, I would say the divine mystery of life, you know? Spend a lot of time trying to figure out what's going on, not only in the world, but what's going on in me. The other night I went to a concert and I saw myself for just a moment. I was like, wow, I'm analyzing all the aspects of this concert. What all the players are doing, what the sound man is doing, you know, how he's not tweaking the knobs exactly the way I would tweak the knobs, that kind of thing. But then in a moment, I was like, oh my God, look where I am. I'm sitting under the stars in this outside pavilion, listening to this band recreate the Allman Brothers. You know, they were an Allman Brothers tribute band, and they were like playing these extended jams in memory of Elizabeth Reed and all the other big Allman Brothers hits, and they were doing such a great job. And there I was, discerning all the things that weren't just right about the moment, instead of just smelling the roses, you know? So if anybody's got any tips about smelling the roses, I'm all ears.
I think
There's a voice in the room I won't smell any fucking roses. No.
I think it's helpful to have the slight aroma of roses about when you're dealing with your terror. I think it's a both and kind of thing. It's our situation. I don't think it's very difficult to face the terror when there's, you know, really no access to just a bit of a sense of the larger reality of things.
So there's something, Frank, you're not wanting to feel in that beautiful moment. Right.
Oh, I want to feel it.
Yeah.
I just have too much else going on that's kind of closing the channel.
You notice how that makes you a victim of the too much going on, right? I
Sure.
can't because.
Sure. Yeah.
So really, when we boil it down for all of us, it ends up being some core feeling of unworthiness, terror, hopelessness, despair, abandonment. There's some mix of that that's driving our compulsive behavior. That's why we're saying, I won't fail. It's not because we're stubborn. It's like, you know, if, for example, for me, when I'm feeling like there's no point to going on, it's just might as well, my life has really just been a failure. Let's just reboot and start over in a new incarnation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm resisting that. I'm struggling with it. Why? Because I'm afraid it will consume me. I'm really afraid of it. You see, we're afraid of the very feeling that we need to turn to. I can just turn to that part of me that's ready to just say, fuck it all, and go, I can understand. I've been there. I saw the whole thing. I get it. Right? Wow. Suddenly I'm crying, you know. So we're not taking our defenses here at face value. That's what we're being curious about. How does this land in you, Frank, the way I'm leaning in on you here?
You know, I'm going to try and get to the core of some of my particular behavioral patterns.
The feeling that's underneath them. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. A fear that things will get out of hand
Mm-hmm.
and I won't be able to control.
Yeah. Things will get out of control.
Yeah.
Chaos. Bedlam.
Bedlam. Yeah. Catastrophe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then I'll have to spend so much time putting it all back together.
Yeah. That. You know, once we can really see that, we can also see that it's actually not helping us. Doesn't mean we can stop doing it. And now we're really curious, like, well, is there another way?
Smelling the roses. Letting down on that need for control.
Mm-hmm.
Smelling the roses. But you know, it's like, to me, it's like someone has to teach me how to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, Frank, let's go for a walk. Let me hold your hand and show you how to smell the roses. You know?
And remember, this started really early in life, right?
Yeah. Sure.
This is the child's pseudo solution to be safe. If I'm in control, I'll be safe.
Yeah.
Well, so the work is reaching that part of us that really still needs safety.
Yeah.
So I want to come back. Is it Luciano? Am I saying that correctly? On the Zoom call where it says Fabiana.
I think they're gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
the woman on with the dark hair was
I just want
Luciana.
to say, yeah, they're here. They're coming back. I want to say that.
I'm here. We are
Good.
here. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I had to
just,
change it.
That's all right. I want to say that Sheila told me I was speaking to Luciano, not Fabiana.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
do you see you are being seen? Right.
I'm struggling with my camera.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But you heard what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Will you help me pronounce your name? You say it, and I'm going to listen.
I am Luciana.
Luciana.
And I am Fabiana.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sheila, for noticing.
I don't know about your camera, but I see a beautiful blossoming going on.
Yeah. Right.
Still trying.
I had a suggestion for Frank because I know you're a big fan of the lectures.
Yeah, suggestions, though, if you have a feeling you want to share of support and solidarity, that's what we're wanting here. Like, that's the quickest way we can get to where we want to go.
Okay.
Is there a feeling that he?
Well, I think I suffer from the same thing.
Yeah.
Which is a feeling that the world is, now I may be putting words into your mouth here, Frank, but a feeling that the world is so dangerous that you have to constantly be on guard and always be kind of working. You can't really let down your guard because, you know, there's always more to be done. There's always something to be attended to make sure that everything works out okay. And if you take the time to just lie in the sun and feel the sun on your skin or smell the roses or just relax and enjoy life, that somehow danger could be creeping up on you when you're not watching. Does that ring a bell at all, Frank?
Well, in that moment that Frank's there listening to the music in the gazebo and the starry night, all the roses are there.
Yeah. That rings a bell, Sheila, but I know, like in my divine being, I know that all the roses are there for me to see and smell. And I am the one blocking, the energy, blocking the way. Yeah. And why do I do that? And why can't I just be more, in experience of that?
So notice the trap here that we all get into. If we're not willing to get down to our negative intentionality, our no to life, we're struggling with the very part of us. We don't want to see the very part of us that has its foot on our heart, has its foot on our neck, won't let us get up, right? And there's no shame in this. This is what human beings do. We feel powerless, so we seek negative power. We're ashamed of it, so we hide it, right? Yet, Alex.
I don't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to get in the queue.
Go ahead, jump in. The water's fine.
Well, I want to come in from a little bit different angle, and maybe it's just another version of no to my feelings. But I did something earlier that made me feel bad, which was something somebody was saying. Maybe it was Esther. I don't know. Everybody's moving around on my screen, so I can't go back to the same spot. Somebody said, and then everybody raised their hands, and I raised my hand, but it wasn't true. And
Ah,
where I want to go back, and I feel like it's not true for me that I have a no to my feelings. I feel like when I can finally get to my feelings, I am just so happy when I feel that my heart is still there or still alive or can still feel. I do feel like I'm very, very shut down to my feelings, but I don't feel like I feel like I worked a long time to not feel and no to my feelings, but in my life now, I feel
okay.
very welcoming to feel.
You know what we say, if the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't fit, let go.
Right. So what I'm saying, well, maybe that's just my convoluted version of, I don't want to feel, no to life.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm aware of is I look for opportunities and welcome opportunities that bring me to my feelings.
Good. Yeah, well, this is coming from your real self, right? And all we're saying,
I'm hopeful it's coming from my real self.
yeah. Chris.
I just wanted to share, give Frank a tip. At least what I do in such situations is focus on my breath. How does my breath feel? How do my feet feel on the floor? That has a potential to interrupt all that mind stuff, like focusing on the sensations that I can be aware of. I sometimes can interrupt and bring one back to sort of an embodied state rather than an intellectual state.
Yeah.
And then we can let in the pleasure of the moment, which is often, if one has been the permission to feel the sensation of pleasure is often cut off, because, as Bill alluded to earlier about being raised in Western Christianity, can be cut off because if we're born sinners, which is hugely an abusive idea, but that tends to be pervasive and can get in the way of our feeling safe enough to feel the pleasure of the moment.
What I want to do is notice we're drifting into advice giving, and just to come back to what's moving in you right now on the feeling level, because we're getting ready to come in for a landing in a few minutes. Bill.
Yeah, I was hearing Frank, and I was hearing Alex, and where it lands for me is my no is subtler. The energies are subtler than they used to be. When I was first in the path work 40 years ago, it took full body, work just to get to feel stuff. And what I observe for myself lately is it's subtler. The no is like almost like a little switch. It feels almost like a little choice. So the bad part of that is it's harder to notice, but the good part is it may not take like a core energetic session to get back. Like I've just started planting like higher self mantras, like smell the roses or whatever. Yeah. And just, like
notice though,
bring in that little switch, like, okay, switch this, like it doesn't take a core energetic session for me these days. Maybe for some it does, but I think if we've been at this for a while, we can use subtler ways to kind of change the energy.
Well, let's try this. Why don't we go back inside together? Just let the eyes soften. And let some recent event of distress, of tension, appear in your field of consciousness. Let it be here at the level it actually was in the moment. And just notice the energy moving or not, where it's stuck, where it's moving. Where it's stuck, being shut down, where it's moving, anger or blame, resentment, victimhood, right? Whatever it is. Welcoming it all, just opening the door and letting it in with the grace that's here, just to see ourselves as we really are in life without any judgment or criticism or blame. And now let the energy come down to the heart towards this part of you. The part that just can see, this was hard. I got hooked. Let yourself here, with the grace that's here, feel some kindness towards this part of yourself. See if there's something you can say to this part of yourself you've never said before, from this place of kindness, from the heart. Something you've never heard before. Something you've been waiting all your life to hear. So inviting you to open your eyes again and look at the faces on the screen and take yourself off mute and consider risking saying that heart-spoken expression towards yourself, towards the people here in front of you, right? Like, I want you to know this is not your fault. I'm sorry that happened. Just try letting that come out here, right? We all can bathe in this together. Right? I'm here with you. I really am. I get it.
You're doing great. You've come a long way.
Yeah. Let's not forget that. We came a long way.
You do belong here.
I think you're fantastic.
I hear you.
You see how much love is there.
Wow.
I love you.
Even if nobody else in the world loves you, I do.
No matter how difficult, you'll be able to handle.
Everything's going to be okay. You don't
We'll
have
find a way. We will find a way.
You're okay.
It's okay to want to cuddle and not go outside to play.
And now, as some of you know, just bring your hands up and find yourself saying, I'm here with you. Say it a number of times in different ways. I'm here with you.
Here with you.
I'm here.
Here with
Let
you.
it wash
I'm
through you,
with
coming at
you.
you too. I'm here with you.
I am here with
I'm
you.
here with you.
Right.
I am here with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sheila.
Thank you, everybody. And those who want to stick around, we're going to have a little coffee and donuts. Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.